in an age long lost to the memory of men, when God still whispered through the trees and magic flowed through the earth like blood in a vein, there existed a realm veiled in mist, a land nestled between the jagged peaks of the Mist Mountains, where the wind sang songs older than language itself. It was there that the last free dragons lived, proud, ancient, and alone. At the edge of this realm stood a small human settlement called Varin, where the people had long obeyed one unwritten rule: never cross the high paths into the lands of dragons. The dragons, though distant, were still feared and respected. Orphaned in a war he barely remembered, he was raised by a grandfather who filled his nights with stories, tales of dragons breathing stars, of elven kings riding lightning, of oaths sworn when the world was young. Cael had always wondered if those legends were true. It carried no flame, but a hunger for silence. Wherever it flew, forests died, rivers dried, and memory itself began to fade. And so she chose to go with him. His scales shimmered like the night sky, and his breath carried the scent of thunder and time. Cael, too, began to see visions of a silver-scaled dragon, of a glowing elven figure, of a mountain wreathed in fire. He remembered betrayal. He remembered loss. And somehow he knew the dreams were calling him. After weeks, he reached the realm of the elves Aelander, a kingdom of moonlight woven through towering trees. He simply said that this time they came not as men or elves, but together. The elves, elegant and proud, did not welcome men easily. If they were truly willing, he would guide them to the place where fate would rise or fall. The circle of faded stars, where the veil between worlds was thinnest. But one among them, Lyseria, daughter of the House of Deep Light, looked into Cael's eyes, and saw no greed, no ambition, only clarity and courage. Its wings moaned like lost souls. Its breath erased color, sound, and warmth. In Varin lived Cael, a young blacksmith with soot-stained hands and dreams too large for his quiet village. But with every step, others joined them. Warriors, mages, even younger dragons awakened by Varaxi flight. What began as a whisper became a march far to the north. In forgotten shadows, something began to stir. Cael's son, a void dragon, born not of egg, but of rage, sorrow, and forsaken spells. In urgency, they summoned the Council of Wings, a gathering not held in 1,000 years. The dragons of Ethereal felt it first. Their dreams twisted, their bones shivered. The humans of Varin noticed signs soon after: animals fleeing, the sun dimming at odd hours, dreams filled with wordless terror. Lyseria founded a school where all races learned. Side by side, Verok returned to the skies, to sleep once more, until the world might call him again. So he left. That Verok soared above them all, and roared a phrase in the old tongue. He crossed freezing rivers and forests heavy with silence. The narrator recalls how she spoke gently, saying that prophecy had foretold of fire and lightning meeting beneath the wings of a dragon. Together they journeyed to the cave of Verok, the oldest of dragons, called Starheart by those who still remembered the old names. When they stood before him, silence fell. The dragon, ancient beyond reckoning, looked upon them with eyes full of storm and sorrow. He questioned why he should listen, when humans once hunted his kin, and elves had abandoned ancient pacts. But Cael's voice did not carry pride. He did not offer excuses, and that word together echoed through the cave like a forgotten song. Verika unfurled his wings at last. Their journey from there was long and perilous. They passed ruined elven watchtowers, fields scorched by shadow fire, villages where children no longer dreamed. An army of fire and light gathered, not for conquest, not for glory, but for the right to exist in harmony. At the very edge of the world, where the sky blurred away, they discovered the legendary dragon. Cael was unlike anything the living had seen. It was vast, eyeless, a gaping wound in the sky. For 3 days, the battle raged. Steel shattered. Spells vanished into silence. Even the fire of dragons could not burn what had no soul. It was not until Lysiria wove a spell of remembrance, a melody of lost laughter and unity, and Cael struck the earth with his forge hammer. Not by flame, not by blade, but by heart shall fate be changed. And then they all, dragons, elves, humans, lifted their voices in one shared song, a hymn of belonging, a cry of connection. The void, twisted Skousen, faltered. It did not understand this unity. It had never known compassion, and that was what broke it. It shrieked one last time, a soundless cry, and then collapsed into itself, leaving only a droplet of black that sank into the earth and vanished. After the battle, there were no heroes. Cael returned to Varin, and never forged a weapon again. But once a year, under the third moon, in the misty peaks of Earthariel, dragons, elves, and humans meet again, not to celebrate victory, but to remember that true strength is born not from power, but from unity.